Okay, so before we start, thanks for giving me this conversation. Are you okay?
Totally fine.
Yeah, you don't look so fine.
I'm just waiting.
Okay, so the purpose of this conversation is for my qualitative research course. We are doing an assignment which is a part of qualitative research, and I decided to take mine as a autoethnographic kind of research, which is related to me and parts of my life or experience of my life, or like my whole life history and all of this. But at this moment, I'm exploring a specific phase of my life regarding emotional abuse. And it's important for us to discuss that during this conversation, we might feel triggered, or what we're going to talk here might have an impact on us personally and in our relationship. And it's important for us to understand if you, even though we have these risks, if you give consent.
I give.
Yeah?
Verbal
You
consented.
Prepared?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. In my mind, any bad outcome of this conversation we're gonna have today, we can figure it out the same way we do with our regular issues as a couple. We can sit down and have a talk and just do the same we always do.
Okay.
Okay? That sounds good?
Totally fine. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to go back in time when we first met and started our relationship almost 8 years ago. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Can you search in your memory and share with me what are the first impressions you had about myself?
For sure. Was a very curious person with a lot of knowledge to share, a lot of life, and good energy, and easygoing person, and you were taking care of Louisa by yourself, and taking care of a house, and was not working in a full-time job yet. And I saw you as a brave person, very courageous. And the subjects that we were talking about, all of them was very nice for me. So, and the same ideas, the same interests, the same things, and good energy, brave, beautiful, nice. So the first impression was this. But what
I'm sure it was good impression because you started something with me, so obviously you saw something good. But going closer to our subject here, did you notice at that point any sign of trauma related to emotional abuse?
No. Nowadays I can see, after knowing you, I can see clearly. However, the first impression in the first month, nothing.
Nothing.
I saw you as a little bit confused. However, I was assuming that was something, normal.
When you mean confused, what does that mean to you? What kind of behaviors or any thoughts and emotions you saw that gave you that impression?
The confusion was about how can you handle a lot of problems in your life if you was able to do it? Because I saw yourself struggling with so many different subjects, and you were just saying that you were not ready to all that. You can I think you usually spoke with yourself. I don't know how can I do it, but you were keep doing. You know, sometimes you were, I don't know how, but I'm gonna find a way. But the confusion was about how able you feel yourself doing that.
So in terms of self-esteem?
Yes.
Okay. And so when I talk about emotional abuse, what does that mean for you? Like what kind of things would bring some red flags?
A person that was requesting, asking for something that you cannot do it, and the person keep asking for that. You know, request something that it's clear that you, myself, someone else cannot do it, but you know, abusing from power. So
like some power imbalance in
Yeah.
a relationship is one of the signs for you?
Yeah. It's not so simple to see in the first impression. However, when we go deep, we can see a lot of abuse from men toward women in this society. Actually, in Brazil, I don't know how common it is here in Canada, but I'm pretty sure that in Brazil we have so many services to provide help just to women that suffer from emotional and domestic violence.
Yeah, in this case, we're gonna be more focused on the psychological emotional abuse because I thankfully didn't have the experience to suffer from domestic violence. If we are considering as domestic violence the physical aggression, that never happened. Other forms of violence, in my perception, happen, and I've shared with you many times. So, can you share with me the ones that stick with you more, like the situations I lived before that I shared with you that you found more connected to that kind of abuse?
When your ex had a kid with another person, and at the same moment that you were pregnant, for me that is something close to abuse. And request for money when he was not able to provide any safety for you, financial stability, or emotional stability. These two topics, they are for sure they're the most important for me. We can say that this is a kind of abuse. In my opinion, it is.
Why is that an abuse for you?
Why this is abuse for me? Because he was pushing you to pay the bills and slept with another person. This is a high kind of abuse for me.
So he was using the feelings I had for him to get money, but the other, because if we're gonna go through infidelity, well, I don't know, half of the men in the world would be abusive. So in terms of infidelity, what brings abuse for you?
It was an abuse because you were putting effort in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
money also,
Mm-hmm.
helping him.
Mm-hmm.
However, on other hand, he was betraying you
Mm-hmm.
and asking for money to help his family from you.
Mm-hmm.
So he was pushing you
Mm-hmm.
and betraying you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not fair at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is an abuse for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if he can acknowledge this,
Mm-hmm.
but for my perspective, and I'm pretty sure for the science, when we're gonna say abuse, this is a typical kind of abuse.
I'm not sure if he would, and like my first idea was to interview him for this paper, but during classes, and of course the questions would be less
Deep.
direct in terms of bringing abuse and in terms like this. But we do have a good thing going on in terms of taking care of Louisa and our relationship in general as ex-partners plus parents. And I think it could jeopardize it. So
So,
change my mind.
so it's
So I decided to get another person's like outside view, because that's kind of the point here, getting a look from an outsider. And that's why we're going back at the moment we met and the first months of our relationship, to collect your impressions.
okay.
And okay, so in your opinion, this combo of infidelity plus putting pressure and using the power he had in the relationship to get money and to get me to help him in his personal issues, it looks like an abuse for you.
For sure.
When we met, I was separated from him for many years, but I considered that I was still recovering from the situation. And I do remember one day that you asked me to, we had discussed, I think we were together for a few weeks at the point, and we had discussed my relationship with him and other relationships, like normal, getting to meet each other kind of talk. But at some point you were like, you were telling me that I didn't talk much about it and I didn't share about it, like that you wanted to know more. Do you remember this? Do you remember like feeling like this, that I wasn't sharing enough with you?
No,
No?
but keep going.
So I was remembering this and I was wondering what you were missing, like in my behavior. What did you notice from those situations that I brought to our relationship?
It's hard to say now because I can't remember that I was asking for this. However, I can imagine that I asked for more details because I had a feeling that you were more traumatized than you were sharing, and I want to know more to maybe understand you better, to connect with you better, to become a better partner, something like that. So, because it was an important part of your life, so it's very important, so I want to know. It's not for to save you, nothing like that, but just to connect with you. My first ideas. I'm not sure if was my intention those times. However,
It sounds like that for
Probably,
you.
it's likely.
It's interesting. That so I wasn't thinking that was like a savior behavior. It's
No,
not that. I
no.
was just trying to understand how I showed myself at that point.
Yeah,
Like, how would I go to a new relationship at that moment?
I was not being cautious about yourself, I'm pretty sure, because I was, how can I say, open to a new relationship. I was like, oh, maybe not with her. No, no. I'm pretty sure that my intention was to connect with you, to understand you better, to become closer.
Never had like a
Red flag?
yeah.
Yes, I had a red flag, but it was about Louisa.
What?
You were, please don't make up my mind about Louisa. Don't talk about herself. Don't do nothing about her.
I was overprotective of her.
Yeah.
Okay. We can talk about that if you want to. Do you think you lived in an abusive relationship before?
I think so. When I was working in Fatra, I felt kind of abused sometimes. The big boss, the director, screamed with me once, and he barely apologized later. And he said, that's fine. He barely said sorry. And
Well, you don't need to talk like I don't know the situation. You can
okay,
talk normally.
okay. So for me, that moment wasn't a kind of abuse. Was an abuse.
I'm 100% like not just that moment, but I think like most of your work relationship at Fatra was abusive, especially the last years. He became more and more emotionally like
Drained.
even in terms of like how much you worked, underpaid, all of that. Very abusive. Do you think your relationship with Lorena was abusive?
No,
No, from her part?
no, it was not.
No?
No,
She was
she
just
was
crazy?
just slightly crazy, not abused. She never requests nothing using power or.
So you didn't felt like she was overpowering you and like taking advantage of the relationship and the situation to make things her way?
No, I saw herself as a disconnected person with herself, and using everything that she can to overcome situations in bad ways, bad behaviors, but not an abused person, because she was not doing that in purpose. She was not, trying to, how can I say, manipulate. Yes, I don't know the words in English either in Portuguese.
Yeah, it does make sense because she was jealous and aggressive sometimes.
Yeah.
And like many of the things, the situations you shared with me made no sense. But she was completely open about that. Like she never played much. Yeah, she played much games, but she never was like very manipulative and working things.
Antisocial, sociopath behaviors.
Better,
No.
so you would be like connected, and then she would have power over you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Can we talk a little bit about my ex?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Um, I know that like over the years, you have more conversations with him, and like you also heard from me about him. Um, what do you notice about him that brings you red flags?
He's very, very, very gentle.
Mm.
Over gentle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When he wants something,
Mm-hmm.
he starts to be very gentle. And he lies,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Talking about money, he lies every time. I don't trust him about money now.
Mm-hmm.
He's always saying, oh, I'm gonna send, I'm gonna do it, and
Mm-hmm.
just in the future, not in the present.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he has 4 kids with different moms, so
Mm-hmm.
no house, no car, no regular job,
Mm-hmm.
live with his mom, right? All red flags. Talking about, be a responsible person,
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge that he must follow a path and get through.
Mm-hmm.
No. Just jumping, popping in different places.
Mm-hmm.
Hopping.
Mhm.
That's it. Emotional stability,
Mhm.
no.
No?
No, I think he's not connected with any purpose of life and anything that it's bigger than himself.
Mm.
Just, just have fun and try to enjoy the moment instead of think about the future. Of
Mhm.
course, he loves the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. That's the nice point from him.
Like I think I told you many times, like good dad, terrible husband.
Yeah,
But even today, I want to be careful about saying good dad, because a good dad would provide for his kids.
find a way, in my
Kind
opinion.
ways, yeah.
Sell candy in front of football game, but find a way.
Mhm.
Of course, we're talking about 4 kids, but
And like try not to have 4 kids with 4 moms.
yeah,
That'd be nice. Yeah, not have to pay like 4 different pensions.
that's it.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Now it makes sense to me too. Of course, when I first met him, he was not that nice. He was just one kid, which is kind of like, yeah,
1 kid is
sure,
fine.
one kid is fine. Is it how is for you to, when I share with you all the situations I have experienced with him? How do you feel?
I feel that you are doing way better than everybody could get through this hard situations, and where you are in your emotional stability nowadays, and your work, and your responsibility with the kids, and you are you you are overcoming so many things in life, and it's very nice to see. It's not, I'm not, oh my god, she's so fragile and she get through all this and she's nice now, I'm gonna get easy on her. No.
Mm-hmm.
You keep improving, your past belongs to you. However, you can do much better and you can keep improving. I know they are 42, however, I'm assuming that your personality is changing day by day,
Mm.
and you can become way better than you are now. I'm not saying that you are bad. I'm saying that you can become better.
In terms of?
In terms of emotional stability, in terms of vision, in terms of, become a better professional, better mom.
Let's not go that way. Because we're losing purpose here. We're losing focus. Do you see me as a person vulnerable to those kind of situations at the moment?
At the moment, no. No. You are much more conscious about your role in the relationship, in life. So you are not vulnerable nowadays about abuse. You're gonna say no fast.
So what you see that would prevent that from happening is that capability of putting on some boundaries.
For sure. Nowadays your no is stronger than in the past. Your ideas about yourself, your boundaries are more here in the present. So you said no for many things, so it's better to see you doing this instead of saying yes and become totally overwhelmed. You know your boundaries nowadays way better than in the past.
Now, like after 8 years almost of relationship, you can make the connections, like knowing me as you know now, you can make these connections. How did I end up in abusive relationships in the past?
Nowadays I can understand this, that you were in an abused relationship because there is a lack of boundaries in the past, and I understand you because you are a very, how can I say, nice person. You are a goodness person, a big heart, so you tolerate a lot, and in your past you will tolerate a lot. When you were a kid, you must wait a lot and said wait. So this is what does it means. So your tolerance is high, and you said yes for problems in the past, and now you know that you don't need to do this. You learned a very healthy way to say no, because you know that you're gonna be in trouble in the future if you're gonna say yes now for something that you disagree.
I see. So you think like this, it was an excessive tolerance
Yes,
to those behaviors and those situations?
because of your childhood. But now you are stronger. You know yourself, more conscious about yourself, what you want, what you can't accept. So you will not get into this again. Not this kind, and probably not in a professional way also. So,
Yeah, that's actually my concern now is with other relationships, because like between us is only getting better. Like you don't have a single trace of abusive behaviors in yourself, so I don't see that coming from you. But I think it could happen at work, it could happen even in friendships, and other relationships could end up in that situation. When we do go to the research about emotional and psychological abuse, usually the victim has in it almost like a need to be in situations like this.
Yeah, however, you are conscious about you,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think you're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to study this and to study more about inclusion and everything that is around inclusion, like diversity and equity. So it means that we should treat everybody in a different way. How can they feel better instead of our perspective? We should take their perspective instead of ours perspective.
I'm not making the connection.
It means that if we're gonna abuse someone, the equity it's the positive idea. When we are abusing, we are thinking about ourselves.
Yeah.
However, when we are thinking about equity, we are thinking about others' ideas and how can we treat them according to their ideas instead of our ideas. So I think nowadays you are way better in this side, equity, instead of your perspective or others' perspective.
What do you think I brought to our relationship that helped us have more equity than I had in the past?
You said no many things for something that I want, but was not big stuff, small stuff.
Well, I said no to Canada many times.
Many times.
You had to work really hard to get me here.
Yeah.
That's
You
not
said no
that's
for
not a
another
good thing.
kid.
Yeah, true. I said no for another kid.
Big
Big
milestones.
Yeah.
And you usually say no for I can't do it, I'm tired, or I will not do the dishes, I will not clean the house it's this way because I don't have energy, and totally fine. You're saying no for many things. You said no for visit my parents multiple times because you were tired. You said, I'm gonna have my time now many times. Don't bug me now. You said this many times. So you learned how to set boundaries, small boundaries and big boundaries.
Do you think now I do that? Because like another important thing is not to become an user. Because it's like two faces of the same coin. Do you think I put up my boundaries in a safe way for you?
For sure. When you set boundaries, they are totally fine for me. I can understand your reason behind them. And if I don't, I can just ask you and you can say in a kind way what's going on with you. So this is the most important thing. You explain yourself instead of just saying no and give me your back.
Yeah. Let's take the Canada situation.
Okay.
As something to explore, because I do remember you were quite frustrated with my denial, and how it was for you to have your dream crushed at that moment.
It was an acceptance situation. It was, this is life. Move on, find a different way to achieve your goals, and trying to, this is something that you gonna live with, and try to find a different way, like, stay in a different country for 2 years, something like that. Find a way. Live with her, but find your way to do it. Instead of close the door, I said to myself, you're gonna find a way. However, we were talking and we decided after more than 1 year talking about it, that's gonna be a nice plan for our family, because we can raise the kids in a different way, and that's everything.
We found like things in common regarding this moving out abroad plan. It was like, for me, it was with you the moment we had more arguments, I would say, about and we're in like very opposite sides. I don't think we ever had that in that intensity in other situations. Even like the third baby kind of thing was kind of easy to work it out. But this coming to Canada situation, it lasted longer. We had many arguments about that. It was very emotional for both of us, very frustrating, because we were in like very, very opposite sides of the whole thing.
So this is a nice example. How can you show your opinion and be respected? Because I was trying to understand you instead of just
trying to convince me.
I was trying to tell me your reason, and we spent a lot of hours talking about this instead of let me show this, that. Let's go. Give me some.
During this process, I put some conditions for you, and the first one was for you to do some therapy and find out why you wanted so badly to move abroad. How did you took that? How's that for you?
The condition was good.
A condition.
The condition was important for me, and I said fine, because to understand the reason behind all this, it's important because it's a big change in life. So was a good idea for sure.
So it was fair for you. That was requesting for
was a nice request.
Better understanding.
Was a nice request for sure.
Okay, do you want to add anything else? Like about the whole conversation?
For me, the most important part was when we were talking about how strong you became after all this childhood and abuse relationship in the past, and how different you are nowadays. I knew that, but when I was saying, I acknowledged that you are such a different person nowadays than you were in the past. And it's nice to see you changing. I'm so proud of you. I have an amazing person living with me. Because those things are not easy to digest and change and live in a different way after all that. So that's it.
Thank you about that. It's always nice to have acknowledgement, because as you know, being strong is not
Healthy.
It's the way I've been
Learned.
living my whole life. But it was not always the healthiest way to do it, and like that excessive tolerance, but it's part of how I end up in those situations,
Yeah.
like feeling abused and trapped in a relationship that wasn't healthy. Yeah, thanks for that. It's really good. So this interview would be transcribed, and only the data will be analyzed by my teacher, my instructor at the qualitative course. She's not gonna watch the recording. The recording is only for me, for transcription purposes and like other notes that I have to make. And after I finish with everything that I had to do for this assignment, I will delete it.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.